Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, we are back with another review of X-Men 97. Guys, this is episode 3 titled, I think it's called The Fire Made Flesh. Yeah, it's called Fire Made Flesh. That was the name of today's episode. Guys, I just want to start off by saying I've been loving this show so much. I really, like I said before in my last, my last live stream with my first impressions of X-Men 97, I think this is new and fresh, but also honors, the kind of, animated series that was back in the 90s. I think it, like, really, paid, tribute to that, and also is a continuation, but also something new and fresh. And I've been really enjoying it. Like, I've been really invested in this series by just the way the first two episodes were. And this episode, on how he left off on episode 2 with who is the real Jean. We got asked that question, like, which one is the real Jean, what's going on. And I kind of did some more research, because I said in my last live stream about, why there could be, why there is possible, like, why there is two Jeans, like what like which one is the real Jean and how did this happen. I looked more into it because I remember when the X-Men 97 Marvel Legends came out, like the figures came out, I was like, okay, why does one say Goblin Queen and why does one say Jean Grey and she's in her classic X-Men costume? And then when I saw the two Jeans, I was like, oh my god, I think, this explains the question on why there are, why Jean isn't dressed up as in her X-Men uniform, and why one says Goblin Queen and doesn't say Jean. And I said in my theory, I was like, okay, I think the one that's knocked on the X-Men mansion and pretty much said, I need the X-Men's help. I was like, okay, I think that one is actually Jean, and I think this one is actually the Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor. That's her actual name. We end up finding out in this episode her actual name is Madeline Pryor, and that, of course, she is the clone. This one is the clone that I can't remember his name on the top of my head. That Bethany, say it down in the comment section. I'm like, Mr. Sinister. Yes, Mr. Sinister. There we go. Mr. Sinister made the clone Madeline Pryor to have a kid with Cyclops, so that way, that way Mr. Sinister could, like, do experiments on their baby Nathan. So I'm just, really, I was like, I can't believe, one, that was the storyline that they were going with from the comics, because I actually did go down a deep dive of like learning more about it. I was like, okay, so that's why we had Mr. Sinister in the intro. Also, hi Jamigi, how's it going, bro? But that's why we had Mr. Sinister in the intro, and I was like, okay, like, and that's also why, in back in the X-Men 90s show, we had Cyclops and we had Jean, that they got taken, and they on their honeymoon, I believe, and that's also, we don't really know when the swap happened, because we find out later in the series, later in this episode, that Jean and also Madeline were, like, saying to each other, we don't know, it's not fair if I stay, because we don't know, who married Scott, we don't know, who became the Phoenix, and we don't know when we got switched, like when Sinister made me and switched me out with, with you. So I really, I said to my sister, like, New Rock Stars and also Screen Crush are going to have a field day trying to figure out when the real Jean got taken by Mr. Sinister. Like, when did the switch happen? They don't even know the two Jeans. So that's going to be very interesting to me, because I'm also wondering, because I would assume the real Jean was taken and Madeline was put in to be the real Jean. I'm assuming was when, Mr. Sinister took them on their honeymoon. I'm assuming lots of unanswered questions. That's true, Bethany. There is a lot of unanswered questions so far in this series, and I'm thinking, I'm also wondering when Madeline is going to come back, because we end the episode with, like, Madeline, like, going off, which I'm gonna, like, put up that picture right now when, like, she ends up leaving. I have, like, a whole bunch of slides. I've tried to get them in order, but I couldn't get them in order. But we have the two Jeans literally saying goodbye to each other, like, and she's like, this is Madeline Pryor and this is Jean Grey. And I like how, like, Jean put her hair up to kind of, because that's like what she does in her X-Men costume. So I really like how they kind of like put it that way. And we have this, of course, which is Madeline Pryor. So I really like how they, to tell the difference of like Jean Grey with her hair up, Madeline Pryor with her hair down. But it's also like, they say goodbye to one another. And it's kind of like, I'm wondering if Madeline Pryor will ever come back. I'm not quite sure. She wants to make her own memories that are hers, and she wants to go off while the real Jean has her life. And mind you, it kind of left, the way we left it is very, very hard, because I would say her and Cyclops's, relationship is kind of up in the air, because it's like Cyclops had a baby with, Madeline Pryor, like had like thinking that that was actually Jean Grey. And I honestly feel bad, because it's kind of like there's a lot of confusion with Scott right now of like, okay, well, I thought, how could I not know that this wasn't my actual wife, and I had a kid with someone that wasn't my actual wife. And it's, in a way, it's kind of like, I was talking to my sister, we were like, is this considered cheating? Because it's like, he didn't know, but like, that's not his wife, that's not the actual Jean. So it's kind of like, could Scott ever forgive himself? Could the real Jean, in a way, I think she'll forgive Scott, but like, could there, like, from Scott's perspective, could he ever be able to move forward with Jean and their, marriage and their relationship? You know what I mean? Could they ever bounce back from him being with somebody else he thought was actually Jean? Like that, like that's a really, really big question. That's sort of, that is kind of like, looming around of like, can their relationship make a recovery after this kind of bombshell that was dropped on Scott, that he had a baby with someone that wasn't Jean? And it's also, could Jean, can Jean's life be able to, can she bounce back with her life going forward with the X-Men, like in going forward, being back together with Scott after all that time that of the life that she missed. So it's just questions that are just up in the air. But I do gotta say, like, Madeline finally kind of like working back together, because, as we all know, which I'm gonna pull up right here, this Mr. Sinister, before, like, the Madeline Pryor, the Jean that the fake Jean that thought she was real Jean, was good. You know what I mean? She had no notion that she was a clone until, Mr. Sinister kind of like activated her, and pretty much she became the Goblin Queen, and, when she transformed. So it's kind of like, I was like, now that she's like, because I know in the comics Madeline Pryor is like bad, but now that kind of the spell is broken, that was, keeping, the clone Jean, making her bad and making her become the Goblin Queen. It's kind of like, will she ever be? Will she be like an ally down the line? Will she be like a threat again? Like, it just makes me wonder, because she is no longer under control from Mr. Sinister. So these are just questions I have. But it was really, really cool seeing Mr. Sinister in this episode. Like, I love the new animation design. I feel like I can't stop saying that enough. I feel like it just stands out a lot more to me than the 90s version. I really love this new animation. I really love the new iteration to the theme song. I really love the new, just, that there's an actual story, that they're actually like, there's a story here. It's not just like your everyday drop on a Saturday episode, and it's just, you can just watch that one episode without following a linear story. There's a story here, and they're building stuff up to stories. And I really, really like that. So that's why I really, really am also wondering, is Mr. Sinister ever going to make his appearance again? Because he did escape. So that is going to be very interesting to me, what's going to happen there. And also, Jean, I guess you could say Madeline Pryor's, and Scott's son, got to be like Cable had, or not Cable, Bishop had to take their baby to the future to get a cure, because Mr. Sinister like made it where like he had was like, I guess, pumped him with a disease or something, and they didn't have a cure, so like Bishop had to take him to the future. And I think that explains the lines on Cable's face, because of course Cable is Nathan Summers, so is Jean. And also, when in the comics it isn't Jean's baby, but it is Scott's baby. It's like someone else's, someone like Scott's like had a kid with somebody else that wasn't Jean in the comics to have Cable. But now that, like as Bishop said, the future changes. It never stays the same. It always twists and turns, and it's not permanent. So in this reality, I'm assuming Nathan, aka Cable, his mother is Jean Grey, or I guess not Jean Grey, but it is, I guess, Madeline Pryor. So in a way, I don't know if it is that way in the comics, but and I know it's not Jean, but I don't think it's Madeline Pryor. But in this case, it did change where it was in a way Jean, but it was Madeline Pryor that had the kid with Scott. So I'm just wondering if that could explain why maybe Cable never knew who his parents were. I'm assuming that's why that makes sense, and they didn't know that Cable was their son. They never found that out, so that could explain a lot of the things why when Cable's showing up, they don't know. Unless they do, and maybe I just because again I haven't rewatched all of X-Men 90, so I really don't know. It's so confusing, Bethany. It is, but I really loved everything that they did in this episode. Now, this was cool. I gotta admit, this was really cool. This was, of course, my thumbnail that I chose for the episode. This, of course, is this episode was very magic heavy. I would say is because somehow uh Madeline Pryor was able to go beyond just using her mind for her abilities of kind of Jean Grey. She was able to actually do sort of magic and kind of make illusions. It was very like almost Mysterio, almost like she was able to get in people's mind to the point where they were able to make illusions and make things like look very Mysterio based. It looked very magic based. I got a lot of like Scarlet Witch vibes from Madeline Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen. I got very like get it, Goblin Queen, Scarlet Witch. I just got very Mysterio and Scarlet Witch vibes from Madeline Pryor, and I really hope we get to see more of that character. But I love how she was kind of like making everybody's like nightmares and you know what I mean, like come like in a way come true. Like for was it from Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot? He saw his mother, and his mother found out that he was a mutant because he has yet to, as we found out in, I'm gonna say it was episode 2, at the end of episode 2, he never told his parents that he was a mutant, that he had powers. So for him, it was his mother finding out and kind of seeing him as a monster. And in a way, from his perspective, his mother was a monster because that's the illusion of like his mother thinking he was a monster. He saw her as a monster. So I really thought that was cool. I was like it was very creepy, and I liked how it made it look very creepy. For Morph, he saw Wolverine in the shower. Don't know what that's about, but he saw Wolverine in the shower. And for Hank, I don't even know what Beast was. It just was like a weird face when he opened the elevator. For Wolverine, I can't remember what it was on the top of my head. I honestly don't know. I don't think it had anything to do with Jean. I don't know if we saw it. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments and down in the chat, guys, if we saw it, if Wolverine had any kind of like illusion happen to him. Bishop, I know it was like I think it was either his wife or maybe a war, kind of like someone that he had in the like fighting with him in the war in the future. Like someone popped up. I'm not quite sure who it is because again, like if that person did pop up, like I said, I have yet to fully rewatch X-Men 90, the 90s show. Like I've yet to like rewatch the 90s series. Morph definitely has a crush on Wolverine. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like that's kind of what everybody took from that. But Scott, I'm not sure what his was. I think it was just like I think actually him and Bishop, like Scott's, I don't know what it was. It was just a monster. And for Bishop, it was that girl that popped up, but at first it was a monster. Gambit, of course, it was Jean, not Jean, it was Rogue and it was what's his name? In Magneto. It was Rogue and Magneto. That's what it was for Gambit. That them being together, kind of having like a poison ivy type dealio in looks like Charles's old office. So now Magneto's new office, and that was disgusting. I was like, okay, I did not need to see that. Them kind of like naked. And they're kind of having like a weird poison ivy thing, and like Gambit's walking in on that. I just felt bad for Gambit. That was kind of like his worst fear, as we know, because at the end of last week's episode of episode 2, he saw Rogue walk out of what Magneto's office, so he kind of just knows that there's a weird thing going on with them. And yet Rogue still has yet to come forward about what's going on. Like Cat's not staying in the bag. Like Gambit knows what's going on. Like something's up. He knows. But you said down in the comment section, you said Jamigi, you said that's Shard, Bishop's sister. Okay. Cause yeah, thanks Jamigi, I appreciate you, bro. Bethany, you said they just went to the store. Lol, haha. Yeah, and then we had, of course, after all this stuff is over, after they kind of like get out of the fight because was it the real Jean was able to pull them out of the illusions that that Madeline Pryor was putting them in, and that's when, of course, Rogue and Magneto pop up. Which again, when instantly I was like, oh my god, where was Rogue and Magneto? My sister said like, where were they? And she's like, and she was like, oh my god, are they gonna believe that they went through the stuff that they went through? Like they're not caught up on what's going on. That that about because they weren't even in the room, I believe, when the gene came to the door and there was two genes there. I don't even think they were in the room or even know what the hell was going on. And if they were in the room and then they left the room, to have them all go through their kind of like, you know, like them kind of tripping out and them kind of going through their their personal turmoil through Madeline's kind of mind tricks. It's kind of like, were they gonna believe them? But also when they were gone and they were nowhere to be found, I was like, I knew what they were doing. I was like, I think that Rogue and also Magneto were getting down and dirty. I hate to break it to my sister, but I said that. I was like, were they doing shit while this was going on? And my sister's like, don't say that. This is my childhood. And I was like, I don't care if it's your childhood. I'm saying it how it is. They were getting down and dirty in the other room while the whole entire X-Men were fighting for their lives in their heads. Like what the hell was happening? But then of course Rogue did run to Gambit when Gambit was hurt. So people say like when the cards are down, pun intended, like Rogue and Gambit are their end game. Like Rogue and Gambit are end game, regardless of even if Rogue can't touch Gambit, they're end game. You know what I mean? Like she ran to him when she thought he was hurt. So I think that their relationship is strong. I really hope they can get through it. But I gotta say, Magneto still needs a playing card thrown in his face. Jimmy said his worst fear is gonna come true. I really hope not, Jamegi. I really hope not. There's a Goblin King. Who's the Goblin King? Yo, Jamegi, who's the Goblin King? Let me know, bro. I'm curious. Like, I gotta do more because I follow that comic. I think that comic dude. I gotta watch some of his videos, and because I know he's breaking this stuff down and like what comics to read if you want to read them or filling people in. I definitely gotta do some homework. You said Havoc, Cyclops' brother. That's dope. No shot. I love that then, because it's like, Madeline Pryor is the clone of Jean Grey, and like Cyclops' brother Havoc is like they're together. Her and Madeline. That's actually fire. It's kind of like the opposite. I like that. That's actually cool. If they're together, that's like really cool. I like that. I like Havoc. I mean, ever since X-Men First Class, Havoc's been my favorite. Like I want to see Havoc. Did we ever get to see Havoc in the cartoon? Like let me know. Or maybe that's something that can still happen. I don't know. But that would be really cool if we could get some more projects with Havoc. But I want to talk about this real quick. Just the look of the Goblin Queen of Madeline Pryor. I just love the look. I really do. I think it looks sick. So okay, my mouse is messed up. I've been meaning to get a new mouse. Like it just keeps zooming when I don't want it to zoom, and it's been pissing me off. But yeah, I gotta get a new mouse. Like this shit's like scuffed. I don't know why, but it's been glitching out. My brother's been meaning to look at it, but it's scuffed. But yeah, that's really cool. But I just want to talk about the look. I need to get this Marvel Legends figure because they do have a figure, as I mentioned before. And I just love the look. It's very Scarlet Witch, and I just love it. She's a baddie. That's as simple as that. Madeline Pryor is a baddie. I love the goth look. I love the witch aspect. Come on. but how about this? Because this was the coolest sequence when Morph turned into magic. Dope. Because I loved this character. Anya Taylor-Joy played her in New Mutants. And I loved it. I own New Mutants. I love that movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it was one of those hidden gems for me where I really enjoyed it. There were characters I really didn't know much about, and I just really loved that movie. So the fact of it is that we got this character, and it sounded like Anya Taylor-Joy, had me flipping out. You said it would be interesting if Gambit was the Goblin King. Instead, that's my theory. He will be the Goblin King. That would be dope. That would be interesting if he ended up getting together with like Madeline Pryor. That would be cool. That would be actually a pretty cool couple. That's a power couple. That would be cool. I can't lie. I don't think that will happen, but that's a cool theory though. Jamigi, if we ever see Madeline back later down the line in the series, um, Havoc did appear in the OG show. Okay, what season was that, and what episode was that? Because I gotta watch that. Was it Bethany? You said so awesome. I wish we saw her saw her little dragon. Same. I really wish we did. Lucky. Same. I really wish we would have saw him too. Bethany said I feel like the show so far hasn't shown tone of Gambit and Wolverine. Hasn't shown a ton of Gambit and Wolverine. Yeah, I would agree. I feel like Gambit, as he was in the original '90s series, I feel like he had a little bit more of a presence. Same with Wolverine. I feel like they're kind of like focusing on other characters besides Wolverine, because I felt like even in the cartoon, Wolverine had a really big presence. But I feel like here it's kind of like they're focusing in on the other characters a little bit more, which I'm okay with. Could wait, you said cold comforts Orphean's End? Could comfort Orphean's End and his father Corstar? Is that the name of the episodes that I need to watch of the original series, Jamigi? Let me know for like the episodes that Havoc is in. Let me know. But yeah, cool. Thank you. I'm gonna have to watch those. I'll probably watch those if I have time today. I'll probably watch those episodes. But dude, Jimmy, I need to get your opinion. But what did you think about seeing Magic? About Morph turned into Magic? Wasn't that dope? Like, I thought it was really dope. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy also was a standout in the movie. I really did. I thought she killed it playing the character Magic. And I didn't even know much about that character. Like I said, the New Mutants movie introduced characters I didn't even know about. That I was like, this is so cool. I was hyped when I saw her. Same, bro. Same. I was so geeked. I was like, there's no way. I was like, it sounded like Anya Taylor-Joy. I was like, oh my god, did they get her? I don't think they did. But like, I think that was the only kind of grasp that people had, whoever played the voice of this character in the show. I think it was like the only kind of essence when people see this character is Anya Taylor-Joy. Let me try to like do that impersonation because it sounded like her, and I was like, okay, like it would be cool if they got Anya to play that character for that one little moment. Hell, I would love to see, Magic make an appearance, like maybe even become a new member of the X-Men. Like that'd be fire. Froggy, how's it going? Nice to have you. It's nice to see you here. But yeah, I thought that was really cool when Magic or Morph turned into Magic and then fought, Madeline. Thought that was fire. I thought that was really cool. And also, I just like the teamwork here that, again, with Madeline and Scott kind of, when she broke out of, I guess you could say, Jean, the real Jean broke Madeline out of the trance that, that what's his face, that Sinister put her in, and really knew that, okay, let's go save our baby. I thought that was cool. But the fact that they don't have their baby anymore makes me sad. That Scott had a baby with someone he thought was Jean, and it's like it's heartbreaking because for him it's like I feel bad even for Madeline because she, even though she's kind of has the thoughts and has Jean's memories, she knows that she doesn't really like love Scott, if that makes any sense. Like she knows she doesn't. She knows she wants her own memories. She knows she wants to find her own love. And I just think that's really like respectable and just like really respectable for the character of Madeline, that she's willing to leave the feelings and the thoughts that she thinks and feels are real, but she knows they're not, to make her own memories, to make her own, to kind of have her fall in love, through, go on her own journey and fall in love with, with the person that, kind of make her own life and fall in love and make her own memories and do these things that she's able to leave so Jean can have her life back. I just feel like that's just very like respectable about that character, and I just want to see more about with Madeline. I just really want to see more. But yeah, with this is kind of like the last part of what I wanted to like kind of talk about is Storm. We did get to see Storm in this episode, at the end of the episode, which it did feel weird not having Storm a part of the, like, to be with the X-Men and to help the X-Men. It really was sad to see like Storm leave and at the end of episode 2. But I'm not sure who this dude is, and I don't know if he's made an appearance in the original show. Jimiggy, you would know more than I would because I feel like you probably rewatched the series before 97 dropped, and or you've probably just been keeping up and you know a lot of comic lore, but around surrounding the X Men. But like, who is this dude? That's Forge. Okay, so Forge, does he have abilities? Because I know he's friends with Professor X. So does he have abilities? One and two. Well, I'm assuming if he does have abilities, whether his abilities to give Storm back her abilities. Like, I'm really confused. Because either A, he could be a really good scientist and help Storm get her powers back, or he's a mutant himself, friends with Charles, and is able to like do Charles a favor by giving Storm her powers back. He's like Tony Stark. His power, he is smart. Okay, cool. All right, so he's like a Tony Stark. All right, so like, is his mutant power that he's really smart, or he's just really smart? Because I wouldn't even say like Tony's power is that I mean, Tony's power is that he's smart, but it's not really a power. He's just a smart dude. He's a mutant. Okay, cool. So he's like the smartest mutant. That's dope. Okay, so if anybody could give or figure out how to kind of get around the fact of Storm's mutation kind of being at a standstill, and it's kind of been blocked off, he would be able to unblock it. Okay, cool. I'm excited to see what Forge is capable of. Do you think we'll kind of get? Do you think Storm will get her powers back in like episode 4, or do you think we'll have to wait until like episode 5? Like, let me know, because there's like what I want to say. I forget how many episodes total. I think there's like 13 episodes total of this season. 13 or 14. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, down in the chat, how many episodes we got this season. I think it's like 13 episodes we got, because I vaguely remember us talking about this in the last live stream that we had like last week for episodes 1 and 2. He also has nanotechnology to build weapons. Cool weapons. That's dope. Okay, all right. I mean, because I always forget that like that's not just an Iron Man thing. You know what I mean? Like, other people are able to have nanotech because this is in the world of Marvel, so it makes sense. I also wonder in the comics, has Forge and Tony ever come into contact? Like, in terms of their smarts, I'm really curious, because that would be dope to have like Forge and like Tony come together. You know what I mean? Like, they'd probably be like a unit. Like, they would probably come up with crazy shit. So, like, I would like to see crossovers like that, because I also know that like the Avengers have shown up in the 90s series, because I've seen episodes with them in there. I've known that, of course, Spider-Man from his show has had crossovers with the X-Men before. So it's like, I really hope like going into more seasons of the show, we can get some more crossovers with like Spider-Man. Maybe we'll make an appearance on the show, or like we could have like the Avengers make some appearances on the show, or maybe we can get an Avengers cartoon that would be fire, that connects with the X-Men 97 show. Like, I would like an honestly like a universe, like a cinematic universe, but for the animated shows. I mean, they kind of tried to do that back in the day with like the 90s X-Men and the 90s Spider-Man. They kind of had that going on. But I just would really like them to continue it and build more on it, now that like animation has come a long way and technology has come a long way. I just feel like, and also like people can make, I hate to say it, but it is true. People actually nowadays know how to make a linear story, and it's not like, oh, let's just drop an episode and let it be its own thing, and then do another episode, let it be its own thing, and then like occasionally we'll have a story here and there. Like, I really am glad that they have a linear story that they're doing here. Like, they actually have a beginning and they have an end. And I would like them to actually like incorporate other heroes in this show. I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, honest to God, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really good, and I can't wait just for episode 4. I'm really excited, especially now that Scott's kind of in a really hurt place. Like I said, with will Jean and Scott's relationship, will they be able to rekindle their relationship? I don't know. Will Scott be will he be able will he be ever oh yeah, I can't even speak. Will he ever be able to forgive himself on kind of abandoning his son, because he feels like he's abandoning his son by Bishop taking him to the future to save him? So it's kind of like he feels like he's abandoned his son. He feels like he's been a terrible husband, not realizing that his wife was never really his wife, and it was actually a clone he had a baby with. So it's like, will Scott really be able to recover? Because all in all, it's like a lot's been taken away from him. The X-Men team essentially has been taken away from him, because Magneto is now the leader. his wife was taken away from him. His child was taken away from him. Will he ever be able to recover? We'll have to just wait and see. There's just a lot of stuff going on that I'm just excited to kind of see play out. Episode 4 is a part 1. Dope. Awesome. Awesome. So we get a part 1 and part 2. So episode 4 and 5 are going to be part 1, part 2. Cool. I'm excited. That being said, I'm excited to see how this all will wind up. Yeah, Sam. I'm excited to see how it's all gonna wind up too. Yeah, the tone a tone has happened. Wait, a ton has happened to him. Just 3 episodes. Yeah, a ton has happened to Scott in the past 3 episodes. He, it's just he lost the X-Men team, or he's not. He lost being the leader of the X-Men team. His wife turned out to not be his wife, and his kid. He ended up losing his kid. He needs to go on a vacation. Like, Scott needs to take a break, go on vacation with Jean, let their love spark back up. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to get right and then come back and then, start, and start kind of leading the team again. You know what I mean? He's got to get right. He's got to take a vacation. He needs a vacation. Oh shit. Mojo is going to be in the next episode. Mojo is going to be in the next episode. I think you mentioned who that character is. I believe I know who that is. That I'm excited to see what the next episode is going to be about, because we don't know. So I'm excited. That's how Sinister got them. Oh, they went on a vacation together, and that's how Sinister got. I guess you're right. They went on their honeymoon, and that's when the Sinister got them. They took their eye off the ball for 1 minute, and then that's when Sinister got them. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, we say Jimmy G said, "Yeah, I figured have a figure of him." Yeah, I figured I have a figure of him. That's dope. You have a figure of him? You have to send that to me. Yo, Jimmy, down in Discord, send me the figure of what Mojo looks like. I'm curious. I think I know what the person looks like, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I just love the overall episode. I'm loving what the show is doing. I'm loving that just the animation just keeps getting cooler and cooler. And the stories just keep getting, the story just keeps getting better and better. I feel like we just have yet to scratch the surface of really what's going on, and like what the bigger idea is of this season. I feel like we kind of got little glimpses here and there of, like, this is kind of like with like Jean and Scott, and kind of like where their relationship and where everything is heading with them. And I feel like we know with Gambit, and of course Rogue and Magneto, I feel like where their relationship is even going, of like what's gonna happen with them, and just even the overall presence of the X-Men team. Like, will the X-Men team survive all these trials and tribulations? Like, we don't really know. So I just feel like a lot is being thrown at the X-Men, and it's just, I feel like that's really what the series is overall about, is that the importance of the X-Men, and the X-Men being a family, and what that mean, and like and how much the X-Men means to one another, a part of the X-Men team. So I don't know, it's just like, I feel like also the big thing is that, like, can the X-Men team survive everything that's thrown at them? I feel like that's kind of been the kind of like question that's been that we've been asked, is that can the X-Men survive through everything? Can the team survive? And I feel like we're starting to see that as all this stuff happens. So I don't know. I'm excited for next week's episode, but also I want to show off my jacket real quick. I'm all X-Men out. I got my X-Men t-shirt on right now. Got the t-shirt. It's like the 90s t-shirt, and I also got this sick X-Men 97 Letterman jacket I got at Box Lunch. So it's really, really cool. It honestly looks like I'm a student at Charles's school. So it's really, really dope. I really like it. So, someone going to die. There was casket in one of the trailers. It may be a flashback. I'm thinking. I thought when we saw the casket, it was probably for Charles, because I'm also confused if Charles is like away somewhere, or if he's actually dead. Charles dies a lot in like live action media and like the comic books. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. That just confuses me. I'm gonna assume it was when Charles died, and it's them burying him. I'm gonna assume it's like his casket. I really don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. I just really like today's episode. I get really excited each week, and I'm glad that we do these like review spoiler review, like, live streams where we talk about the episodes. I'm really enjoying doing these like every week. I also am actually planning on doing an intro for like kind of like a live stream loop intro where like it's playing until I start my stream. Like stream will be starting soon. I'm planning on having it X-Men based, so I'm gonna try to work on that. I got the theme already ready that I want, the music that I want playing over the loop of the intro of the stream will be starting soon. So I'm gonna work on that before next week. My brother is off this weekend, so he said he's gonna help me do it this weekend. But just know next week when we are back for episode 4 or part 1 of episode 4, um, there will be an intro theme before the stream. So I'm really excited to do that. The only time I ever did that was for Loki season 2. So I'm really excited to kind of like make this a thing. I want to make it a thing where like when I do these live, live episode spoiler reviews where we have a discussion about the episodes, I want there to be a pre-streamer where like you guys have something to like listen to or like, look at until I start my stream to get you hyped up about talking about the episode. So I really want to do that. So I'm gonna work on that probably this weekend, because that's when my brother is free. I already got the music. I just need him to help me like look for a moving, cool X-Men background, and then do some work in Canva, make it look really good, and then post it for you guys every Wednesday, before I go live. It looks like you are gonna be the New Mutants, bro. Yeah, I know, right? Let's go. That would be cool though. If I would love to be cast as like in an X-Men movie or an X-Men show. It would be cool. It would be so cool. Oh man. But yeah, it looks like I'm about to be a New Mutant. It looks like I'm a part of the school. So it's really cool. But guys, I just want to say thank you for everybody coming to join me in today's spoiler review for episode 3 of X-Men 97. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys all back here next Wednesday for part 1 of episode 4, or I guess part 4. Yeah, episode 4 of part 1 of a two part episode. I can't believe we're getting a two-parter already. That's insane to me. I feel like that's something you would do like when you're getting to like the finale, do a part 1, part 2. But hey, I'm excited to see what story they're going to be telling. There's a lot going on with the X-Men team. There's a lot of fallout, but there's also healing. I think a lot of healing is going to happen hopefully between Scott and Jean, and hopefully between Rogue and Gambit. I really hope so, because like I said, it was sus when they were gone all that time. I mean, even Morph said it about the Danger Room, that they have the Danger Room all signed out all day for the next couple of. I think he said for the next couple of weeks or a couple of days. He said that they had the Danger Room. They had the Danger Room theirs for like signed in their name for like they had it scheduled because there's schedulings that they do for the Danger Room. And I was like, dude, you can't be making jokes like that. You gotta be nice to Gambit at a time like this. The last 3 episodes are parts. That's dope. Okay, cool, Jamigi. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Jamigi, I always love talking to you, bro, about like this stuff. I learn a lot from you, and I feel like we just have that nice energy of excitement about the show. And same with you, Bethany. I really love talking to you too, and just I love talking to you all in here. It's just this is really fun doing this every week, and I'm really happy I'm doing it. Did you see Spider-Verse short film? No, Bethany. I did hear, though, that there is a Spider-Man short film that they did release today. I would like to do a reaction to it later, but I don't know if I'll get copyright for it. A part of me doesn't even want to do it because I feel like I will get copyright, so I'll probably just watch it. And I don't know if I'll give my opinion on it. I'll probably I might make it like a community tab post, and like, guys, this was really cool. You know what I mean? It kind of ties us over until Beyond the Spider-Verse, but I definitely want to watch it though. Oh, release what? Releases what? Ooh, releases what? Same releases what? I'm confused about what do you mean ooh releases what? Release on what? Oh, it released on YouTube. if you didn't know, it's on YouTube. It's free. It's on Sony's page. The Spider Verse or the Spider Verse short. It's on Sony's YouTube page. I have to watch it. So definitely I'm gonna watch it. Because like I said, I would love to do a reaction. Oh, unless you meant like where am I releasing my reaction? If I was gonna do one, it'd be on probably the main channel here. But I don't know if I'll get copyright because it's kind of like it's like kind of like a show almost, and I don't know. I'm not trying to get like copyright and have like the video get taken down. So I probably won't even do that. But most likely I'll watch it and give my opinion on it on community tab. So keep a lookout, guys, for that. And I just want to say thank you for coming on here. Um, and yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit scramble brained when I talk about an episode, but I'm glad that I got you guys, and I'm glad that you guys, you guys know what I'm trying to say when I talk about an episode. And I just, honest to God, this is more like a conversation than it is like even a review. I love giving my opinions, but I just love talking to you guys because I know a lot of you guys are spread out throughout the country, and it's just I really love talking to you guys and communicating. I feel like that's the one benefit I have of doing YouTube. I feel like it's the biggest benefit is talking to you guys. And I love doing stuff like this. If I can't, watch something with you guys, I at least want to talk and actually feel like I'm talking to you guys via the live chat. So I really love doing this, and I just can't wait to watch episode 4 next week. But guys, I'm gonna end stream here. But like I said, guys, as always, hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 4 of X-Men 97, part 1. Peace.